ladies and gentlemen, this is SidAlpha coming to you today with another episode of Is It Worth It? Today we're looking at Starhammer, the Vanguard Prophecy, a game that was released on June 4th by Black Lab Games. This is a turn-based strategy game involving big spaceships. So first off, here we are at the main screen. Let's take a quick look at the options menu. Now we do have music volume, sound volume, and scroll speed. Reset instructions. Interesting. Now, graphics options. Now, this is very, very bare bones. And we have basic screen resolution, full screen or none, and then quality, high, medium, or fast, which is an odd choice to put there for lowest graphics settings possible, I would imagine. But all in all, this is a very, very bare bones options menu. It's kind of a disappointment in a game like this where so many settings and tweaks could be applied. Please note also there are no options for any form of rebindable keys of any sort. All in all, a little bit disappointing, I think, on the options menu there. I would definitely want to see a bit more. Let's see. Let's start a new campaign. We'll not bother with the skirmish mode. Let's see. Actually, for the purpose of this video, let's just do easy, because all I'm basically doing is introducing you to the game and showing you what it's like. Okay, so here we are. In the 22nd century, we left a dying Earth so that a fortunate few could settle an unspoilt frontier home. The journey to Gliese, I believe that is, 581D, took 146 old Earth years and was called Novus by the time we made landfall. Scion corporations became ministries, wilderness was cultivated and irrigated, and the dreams of a new coalition were fresh and vibrant. In time, we would learn that, just have to stop here, these graphics are actually, these little panes here, are really good. It is a little bit disappointing though. This, I would much rather see something like this, kind of an introductory cutscene to the game, probably would help draw people in a little bit more. It's kind of a shame they decided to go strictly text with all of this. So in time we would learn that a life in a frontier colony is neither prosperous nor peaceful. We were unprepared for the Nautilid as they were too unprepared for us. As they too were unprepared for us. The conflict was messy, chaotic, and ultimately ended through the determination of individuals, not armies. 14 years later, our leaders remained politically entangled and unable to see the threats that linger both afar and within our own walls. War heroes have become politicians, conspiracies find traction in a fractured population, and already the losses of 14 years ago are forgotten by a new generation. Dun dun dun. Okay. So, alright, 9 days ago, personal log of who is your character, Lieutenant Valeron Dice, CAC class 37. Basically, this game uses text for everything, the entire storyline and all that. Alright, so 9 days ago. Lieutenant Dice, I'm so very glad you decided to roll out of bed to join us. Well, let's see, we'll click to expand for this. Sir, apologies, sir. We had issues with one of the swordfish's thrusters. The enemy will not wait for your alarm clock, Lieutenant. Captain Lou, interesting, is already out at the next hot spot practicing artillery with his crew. About that, sir. You, however, have to take our strike group within SNR range of that busted utility before you get to play with any of the real toys. Lieutenant Derrybridge, make sure the captain in training knows where to go. Operational nav points have already been pushed to Lieutenant Dice's console, sir. Hear that, Dice? Yeah. End of transmission. Okay, so this is basically tutorial mode. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my mouth to work properly here. Move Valeron's flagship to the waypoint. Now this is basically where you live in this game. All it is a adjustable battle map, which is fairly typical with a turn-based strategy game. This does have a few different options. You see here, you click basically where you want your ship to go. This is your current movement arc with this ship. So we're going to that waypoint, so we're going to plop them right about there. I'm going to select this guy. These are our smaller escorts: Swordfish Lincoln 7 Raider and Swordfish Musketeer 8 Raider. So basically we move our ships where we want them to go. Oh, we can control that one. Beautiful. Okay, when we're done, we either go hit show battle or enter on the keyboard. And a short period of time passes every time you move on to the next phase. And we continue on. Make them go max movement, because the game somehow starts you just a little bit back. So you can get, by manually controlling it, you can get slight amount more movement instead of letting the game control things. And this is wash, rinse, and repeat. Not too much action, you will find, being this is the first mission of the campaign, and it's basically teaching you the mechanics of the game. So here we have on the selected ship, we have its current shields down here in the lower left corner. Left, right, front, rear, top, bottom. You can see that these guys have very weak rear shields. Now we have our Corvette, also much weaker shields. The front and the top appear to have the strongest shields. Same with that. And then we have this guy here, who has front, left, and right shields very strong. Rear, of course, is again the weakest. So basically this is one of those things where you always want to keep your nose pointed at the enemy. And I somehow locked onto that guy. There we go. You can, of course, use the directional keypads. Both the arrows and WASD do function for this, so that will help out a little bit. Okay, it looks like these guys are actually maintaining maximum range now. Basically, so far our objective is to get to this waypoint. Now, you do have presets here. We have balanced, you have your weapons, shields, and engines. You can set these however you want on each individual ship, and it can be changed at any time. And you have cancel or confirm, which allows you to divert more energy to weapons, shields, or engines. Now, these do gain experience, and the pilots do gain experience and gain in level as you progress. Later on, we don't have them quite yet, probably because we're not in combat with anyone, but your capital ship does have missiles that it can launch as well, which is a very powerful attack, also prone to missing, at least early on in the game. Engage and eliminate the hostile ships. That's always fun. Let's go kill some bad guys. Are they bad? I don't know. They're hostile. That's good enough for me. Now, every time you do adjust a ship, you'll notice down here in the lower right-hand corner, it says calculating for a moment. It's basically halts while it recalculates. What the Finnegan? Interesting. It does recalculate the map every time you make an adjustment. Okay, so we can fire a missile. And let's actually fire 2 missiles at that target. And you have previous to next, so you can cycle through the available targets. We're going to focus on this guy because it looks like he's taking a little bit of damage already. Actually, let's just fire 1 missile. Okay. So the missile will fire as soon as we click on next, and we'll go rocketing off towards the target. And it... oh, looks like it's it might hit. That will be a first. Now that we're getting into combat, you're going to want to be careful with how you map the path of your ships. So making sure that you stay in optimum firing arcs is definitely a good idea. We're going to want to slow down our capital ships here and make sure our escort fighters stay in their forward arc to be able to fire weapons. Oh, that missile did hit. That was actually a first for me, ladies and gentlemen. All the missiles I'd fired prior to recording this video missed completely, 100% of the time. So it looks like we've actually killed 2 of the raiders. So we're going to want this guy to chase him. Now you do have to be careful because if your ships cross arcs, you do have a chance of having them run into each other, which is not something you want to have happen. Ha! Hit my shields. Okay, so we were, of course, easily successful there. But the game does grow more complicated as it progresses. Like I said, this is just the first mission, so naturally everything is going to be very easy. Now, one thing I also don't like about this is you actually have to click on dialogue to advance it. And one more example where at least a little bit of voice acting would have been nice here. It would have definitely helped with the immersion and the ability to engross one in the game. However, the game mechanics here do seem very solid. The gameplay is smooth. The interim resolution of the actions you've decided upon seem to work fairly flawlessly. I have yet to have a single bug or crash in this game to this date. I've put about 6 to 8 hours into it so far. And we're up to 8 days ago. Yeah, so far the game has been silky smooth. The graphics are quite good. Now you actually select your ship formation. So we're actually going to bring these guys in a little bit tighter. And we have available points to spend, so we can actually request a ship. Now this ship, of course, will not be available during this mission, although they should be available for deployment next mission. It's good to have reinforcements on hand in case you have a ship lost, or if you're able to expand your fleet statistics and are able to... yeah, this is also nice. You can go with a high-low ship formation. There's a lot of customability in this game, and it is actually, the tactics and decisions here are a lot more in-depth than you would necessarily be able to gather at first glance. Okay, so here is our next mission. Intercept Lieutenant Liu's attackers. And let's see, how close can we get to these guys? Ooh. I want to see just how well the graphics hold up here. Whoa. The controls get very twitchy the closer you get. As you can see, the graphics on these is not bad at a distance. I would actually like to see a bit more detail on the ship models up close. See, as you can see, that's very twitchy there. Very, very, very simple, basic ship models. Subpar, I think, for a modern game, but definitely acceptable. It's more of a preference. I would prefer to see a lot more detail, especially in the current capabilities of modern PCs. This graphics level is a bit lower than what I would desire. Probably part of the reason why the game runs as smoothly as it does is basically the ship graphics are rendered exactly as they are, no matter the distance. Ooh. So as you can see, the graphics are a little bit basic. Engine flare here is very, very simplistic overall. Not really noticeable at a distance where you will be playing the vast majority of the game. However, once you get in close and really taking a look at it, you can see how basic those graphics actually are, which is perfectly fine. Like I said, it's an aesthetic choice, not really indicative of the game itself or its gameplay. So while we're at it, this game does have a lot of options where you can actually change plane and go higher or lower depending on your field, which allows you a bit more depth in your decisions, but you can only go so high or so low. So it's not truly a three-dimensional zone that you are in, but more of a compressed specified area that you can move around in. But that being said, it does offer a fair amount of range as far as that is concerned, and with that, it does open up quite a few possibilities for laying out three-point conversions and several other options for leading your enemies into optimal firing arcs for your ships while keeping out of optimal firing arcs for theirs. We have toggle projections on or off, toggle weapon arcs, which actually can help you until you start to get a better feel of things. This red arc here is basically an area in which the ship... Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure what this red arc is. But at least it will give you the arcs for you to be able to work out and discover for yourself. It also will show you what the maximum firing range for your ship is based on that arc. So as you can see, this capital ship is pretty broad. These guys have a little bit narrower firing arc, but they shoot further out, and of course there's no rear arc. I'm guessing what that is with this is with rear arc weapons. So that will give you a better idea on how to better position your ships for maximum effectiveness. And up in the upper right corner, we have the camera selections. And then we have our menu. Oh, here we go. Show shortcut keys. So it does show you what the keys are, but like I said before, there is no option for rebindable keys, which is a shame. Especially in this day and age, with a game like this, rebindable keys would be nice, where you would be able to design it as you would like. Also, I know it's not how this game was designed, but also being able to include a real-time aspect as opposed to the turn-based aspect would be a nice additional feature to add to this game, and it's kind of a shame that that wasn't put in. So, but that being said, overall, the game is actually fairly enjoyable if you like turn-based strategy with big spaceships where stuff blows up. This is actually, believe it or not, a good game. I like it. It is simplistic to a certain extent, but not overly simplistic. It does get challenging. You do have to manage resources. You have to manage your ships, and it does take a lot of tactical thinking later on in the game to be able to come out on top, as you will start to see yourself getting outnumbered and outgunned in several situations. So it is a good turn-based strategy game. I would like to see a bit more features and functionality, and I would like to see them perhaps release an updated ship texture pack, which would take care of some of these graphics that I'm seeing here, which are very below standard of what I would wish to see in a game that is charging this much. This is a $20 game. So for what you're getting here, like I said, I like it, but for what you're getting with it, I don't think it's worth the price. I don't. I would wait for it to go on Steam sale or wait for the overall price to drop by half before considering it a worthwhile purchase. That being said, this is Starhammer, released by Black Lab Games. The price tag on Steam is currently $20 or your regional equivalent. And don't buy it right away. Wait for it to come down in price. Once it does come down in price, I think it will be a worthwhile purchase. At the $20 price point, I don't feel there is enough content in this game to warrant that price tag. This is SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.